special session. Yes, we have new people joining in. Great. So I would invite each and every one of you to just introduce yourself quickly, maybe take 30 seconds to 1 minute. Yeah. So shall I invite Miss Vani to introduce? Maybe if possible, you can on your camera as well.
Hi, very good evening to all of y'all.
Yeah.
I used to join your Zoom that was about a year ago, but recently something that's attracted me because I just want to get to know is this, I mean, today's event, is it that you're going to talk about the book that you all mentioned? And what are you going to do about it? Anyway, my name is Vanya. I'm from Kuala Lumpur. I'm a certified trainer from IATD, where I'm into the group of so many people from India. In particular, Manoj Keshav, I believe you all should know. And I'm very happy that when I started when I completed my Master Diploma in Training and Development from IATD, I'm being connected all over India.
Okay.
And it's very interesting because it consists of various people from top level, management level, industry players. A lot of knowledge has been gained and so on. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you, Vani, for introducing. Amazing. Okay, so next, can I invite Mr. Indra Kumar Johari? Then we can have Rajesh Raut to introduce. Yes, sir. You're on mute, sir. You can unmute yourself.
Good evening, everybody. Happy to be able to join this program. I have got in contact with Mr. Khussaal Jain, Amplefy, through the WTD. And since then, I've become a fan of Khussaal's organization, Amplify, and all the activities that he's doing. And over here, as far as this program is concerned, I like to read books. And if I'm able to get the gist of books, any book over here, that will be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Rajesh Ji, go ahead.
Good evening, friends. I'm Rajesh Raut. I'm a trainer by profession. I have close to 25 years of training experience. Thank you.
Okay. Still more little bit.
I am also a student of IATD. I did my course along with Mr. Khussaal. And currently I'm managing a hospital, a chain of hospital. And while my passion for training still remains, and I prefer training than managing hospital. So any day, training, that's my passion.
Okay, amazing. Thank you, Rajesh. Okay, so next we have Abnaz here. Abnaz, would you like to introduce? Then we can have Mr. Sarat Sahu.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. This is Abnaz here from Moscow, Russia. And I'm a baker by profession. And just like the Joris, I also was introduced to Khussaal through WTD. I've taken part in his movement, and it was a beautiful experience. And the reason I'm here today is, to be honest, I hate reading. I hate reading anything. Forget storybooks, forget any novels, whatever. But this is one book that I've always been keen on reading. I've held it in my hand a couple of times, and I've just put it away. So I thought if I get an overview of what it is, why should I miss it? So that's what's brought me here today. Thank you so much. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, yes, Mr. Sharat, you can go ahead next.
Hi everyone. Good evening. This is Sarat Sahu. I am from Hyderabad. I'm a scientist by profession. I work in biological which is a pharma company established in Hyderabad. And I am interested in reading books, and I am looking forward to. This is one of the best seller book on finance, I believe, and I am just looking forward to know more about it.
Thank you, Mr. Sarath. Okay, so next I'll invite Suresh Agarwal. Can you introduce Mr. Suresh Agarwal? Then we can have Mr. Rishikesh.
Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm Suresh from Mumbai. I was in exports of chemicals field for almost 30 years. I worked. I have extensively traveled all over the world, more than 80 countries for my export business. Now I am retired. So all I have with me is experience and some savings. So now I'm looking forward to investments and all that. So I thought maybe understanding about this organization and understanding about this book can give me some insights.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Suresh.
Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, so next, can I invite Yogesh? Then we have Pamarthi Srinivas. Okay, so this is just an introduction round, just to know each other. Okay, yeah. Mr. Yogesh, yes, you can go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Good evening, all. This side Yogesh Sangwan. I belongs to Haryana. Currently working in Japanese MNC in Delhi. So around having 12 years of working in different departments.
Okay.
So I'm a IITD certified trainer also. So looking forward for the session, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Yogesh. Okay, amazing. So can we have Mr. Srinivas, Pamarthi Srinivas?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's Srinivas from Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. So I'm a HR consultant. Okay, I'm interested in books and all. Just looking forward to learn from this. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Pamarthi. Yes. Okay, who else? Not introduced. Okay, so then we have the Kshitij. Yes, you can go ahead.
Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Kshitij Johri, based in Mumbai. While we are in the session of Red Dad, Poor Dad, my own father is also here, Indra Kumar Johri. And we both are book lovers. We both carry Kindles separately, but with this, we end up reading the same book at the same time. And it has been such a pleasure to be associated with Amplify in so many different ways. For me, the concept of an online book club is something which I'm really loving with Amplify. When we are talking about Robert Kiyosaki, he is a person who has influenced some of my thinking, being one of the first few authors of where I was when I started to read about finance. And somewhere down the line, with while we all know Rich Dad Poor Dad is the best-selling book, it has been read by so many crores of people across the world. To be very honest, having read more than 1,000 books, this is one book which I have not completed. So Abnas, don't worry, we are on the same page. We both have not read the same book, and let's look at how and what people would like to share about this book today.
Okay.
Kshitij, I'm shocked if you've read 1,000 books and you haven't read the best book, because I've heard so much about this book. People saying you must read it, but I can't get reading it.
Yes. So all the coaches and trainers over here, if they will understand this fact that after being in this field for 2 years, I have not seen a single Tony Robbins webinar.
Okay, Kshitij, amazing. Okay, can I invite Priyanka? Can you introduce yourself? Quick introduction. Priyanka Gupta. Okay. Okay, great. So as people are joining, we'll invite them to introduce. Okay. So let me introduce myself. My name is Khussaal Jain. I'm the founder and CEO of Amplefy Mastermind LLP based out of Bangalore. And this concept of book club, actually, we started in 2007. Okay. It was called as Bangalore Book Club. Okay. By that time, we were meeting offline. Okay. In 2008 and all, we will every alternate week, second Saturday and fourth Saturday, we were meeting in open restaurants between 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the evening. Okay. And it was a physical meeting, what we were having every week, alternate week, that is fortnight. Every fortnight we used to meet. And we also had special event like where we invited Subrata Bagchi, Anita Nair, Shobha Day, different authors. We had authors from Delhi, Mumbai attending when they are coming to Bangalore, launching their books. Okay. And they were attending our book club as well. And we had a great time ongoingly, like any given point of time, 25-30 people used to participate offline, I'm talking about. Okay. And most of them were like business owners, from people who are working in corporates. Okay. And similar concept, what we started offline also was started in Mindtree, Infosys, Wipro, and various organizations. The whole concept of book club. Okay. At that point of time, there were not much book club, but now if you see, there are many book clubs have come up. I'm talking about Bangalore actually, but specifically, but there are in other cities as well. Okay. And one why book club is actually required is no, this is where you read books and you connect with other people who are in the similar line, and also understand their pattern of learning, their perspective, because everyone, even say today we have, when I'm talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad, a book, but when we read, okay, I have read a couple of times, but what happens is my perspective would be different than the other person who has read it. Okay. So that's how no, this kind of discussion debates happens. We keep that, and then we also invite the authors. Sometimes we keep it open to discuss any books, or sometimes we keep like fiction, non-fiction, adventurous, okay, war, history, something like that. So we have different topics we pick up for every meet, and then we used to come and discuss. Okay, so that's how it happens. It is like more of, you can say, one is intellectual discussion happens. Okay, but sometimes yes, the debate goes on in a very no, lengthy way. Sometimes we know when we are having offline meeting, we ended sometimes like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. like instead of 2 hours, we used to get like complete like 3 to 4 hours. It was happening. So it was a great fun having our offline meetings. But yes, after 2020, we started online, but it was not regularly. We were doing like once in 3 months, once in 6 months. Okay, whenever our co-organizers were there. So I have co-organizers who run the book club meets. Okay, and so they, whenever they had the time, because most of them working from home, so they had the challenges to run the show. Okay, so that's what happened. So now let me tell you, actually my interest of reading books was at the young age. It was most of reading stories. Okay, like James Bonds and different detective stories and all this stuff, crime, and so mostly English, Hindi were there. Okay, majorly was Hindi at that time, and later on I picked up reading more of English books. But when I got into my business, say 1994 onwards, I stopped reading actually. Okay, and then in one of in 2004, on the when I was heading from Rajasthan to Bangalore, on a platform in Ahmedabad, okay, I picked up one book. This was the first book which I picked up, called as Business School. Okay, so I wanted to understand like how other people are thinking about business and how it can be know how this can help in business growth. Okay, potential growth. So this is how the first book I picked up of Robert Kiyosaki, and from there actually interest started. And then I picked up, this was actually Hindi version, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Okay, then I have Cash Quadrant. Okay, then Guide to Becoming Rich without cutting up your credit cards. Okay, then Guide to Investing. So there are various books which I picked up in the series actually of the Robert Kiyosaki. I know right now my English version of book someone has picked up, so I'm not able to find. Okay, so I had two English version and one Hindi version of it. So right now I'm retained with the Hindi version. Okay, so this is how. So right now I have a library of more than 500 plus books, and Rajesh Lord also, I've seen his library having more than 300, 400 plus books. I have seen Kshitij also, Kshitij and Inder Kumar, they have almost both the rooms, both the rooms and the living room filled up with the books. Okay, because when I visited the Bombay, I also attended the, I visited their house and I was seeing everywhere I see the books, and even in the office when I see, they have plenty of books. So I know when he says I have read 1,000 books, there's no doubt about it. Okay, so today's discussion would be like an open discussion. It is not like whatever you have learned, whether from the book you have read. Okay, maybe I'll invite Shiti to even take up a couple of chapters or take a couple of pages better. Okay, and read it out. Okay, that's whatever you feel randomly. It's okay. So we can have that, and then we can see what are the points Robert Kiyosaki want to put across. Okay, and how we perceive each other's way. Okay, so we can do that. And today Kshitij would be doing the moderation of this whole session. So I invite the volunteers. There is no fast and hard rule saying that no, only I should run the show. It's not that. Anyone can be the part of it to run the show. Okay. So as Rajesh has raised the hand, I know he can also be. So next meeting, I would hand it over to him. So we are going to meet on the 4th Saturday again. So Rajesh, yes, go ahead. And Kshitij, yes, now I hand over it to you.
Hello, good evening, everybody again. So when we talk about Robert Kiyosaki, we also have read so many different books. We have come across his books in so many different languages. So incidentally, while I shared that I have not completely read the book. I'll just share the screen and read out from the Kindle version. So today we are here to talk about Rich Dad Poor Dad, the original mastery of financial intelligence. And when we are going through this book, we realize that the author has actually taken us through a journey where he's talking about two different families, and he's also talking about his own birth family. He's also talking about his friend father, whom he calls Rich Dad, and he calls his own father as Poor Dad. And somewhere down the line, while reading this book, we realize there are certain concepts which are very different in this book, and he opens up the world of thinking fresh about wealth, about finance, about so many different things. And he is also basically one of the originators of talking about that the kind of money mindset that we have is all coming in through societal conditioning, through parental conditioning, and through how our teachers are taking us through. So when we are basically talking about so many different things, so there are so many different books that he has written, and Robert Kiyosaki and his wife, they both have been together on this journey. His wife's name is Kim, and she has really been together with him in his own journey from difficult times to tough times to prosperity. And in this, he's basically sharing about uh, so many different things. I'll just read out the index and then we'll pick up a couple of things where somebody who has read the book and would like to take us through it. The chapter 1 is lesson 1, the rich don't work for money. Chapter 2 is why teach financial literacy. Lesson 3 is mind your own business. Lesson 4 is the history of taxes and the power of corporations. The rich invent money. Somewhere I was actually wanting to read this as the rich invest money, but the name of the chapter is basically taking us through a very, very different view. work to learn, don't work for money, overcoming obstacles, getting started, still want to know more. Here are some to do. And the Kindle version is also having some excerpt from his one of the other best-selling books, The Cash Flow Quadrant. So over here, if I could have a show of hand, how many have actually loved this book and have tried to live by it? One is we love a book and one is we live by it. I would really want such a person to come up and share their experiences. That would really set the energy flowing for all those people who want to learn more about Robert Kiyosaki. Anybody would like to come forward? Mr. Rajesh?
Hello, friends. I have read this book many years back, and I am very close with this book for another reason. I was working with GE in the early 2000s, and as a part of my job, I was also in a place called Arizona, where I personally met this man called Robert. I was associated with NBC, that is News Broadcasting Corporation, and we were approaching him for some other interview, and then we happened to meet him. With that capacity, I met him. Otherwise, I don't have any worth meeting such a great man. There was a choice, and we met in Starbucks. There was a choice of 3 cups, one large, one medium, one small. Which one would you go for? And to impress each other, we'll go for a bigger one. That day, I'm paying more for it. But he chose the smallest one. I thought he's not interested in drinking the coffee just for the sake of having this coffee. He's taking that coffee. But later on, he told that the quantity of coffee in all the 3 is same, but the price of the 3 are different. So this is just like fooling you. And I didn't understand much on that. Then he said, I have written a book on this, you please read that one. And then I thought, okay. But then there was an interview and that went. And later on, I realized what he had written has a lot of meaning. I'll tell what did I learn and how I implemented practically on that part. So he says, when you buy a house, you think you have done a smart job financially, but actually not. You have locked yourself to someone and keep paying all your life the EMI for that. I buy a house for 1 crore rupees, paying 20 lakh or 25 lakh down payment. I have a financial commitment of balance 75 lakhs or 80 lakh to the bank to pay. How I pay, I only know. And do I pay balance 75 lakh or 80 lakh? No, I actually end up paying 1 crore 30 lakh or 1 crore 40 lakh because interest component is added, and it is added for 20 years or 25 years. We feel it is small EMI, it is going and it won't pinch my pocket. But actually, I end up buying a house which was for 1 crore at 1.5 crore. And all these years, this burden of financial burden is there in my head that I have a commitment to make. Earlier, people had this much money and they would buy this small thing. But today we have this small money, we want to buy this big thing. And that is the major cause of all kinds of stress today. So he says, don't invest in anything because you're not making asset, you're making liability. You have one life to live. Make sure you make it best one. So don't buy things that you don't want. And if you really want to buy things, then reach up to that level and buy that thing. And similarly, when he was talking about, suppose you want to invest in your business. So you better stay in a rented house and invest in a business. Don't buy a house and then try to invest whatever is balance in your balance money is left for your business. If you stay in a rented house and invest in your business, chances are you can buy 2 houses after some time. So that is his approach. And now, how did I make best use of his knowledge? During Corona, I lost my business. I had no job, and I had no other place to go to earn money because offline trainings were off. How I managed? So with his knowledge of compound, the power of compounding, I had invested something in shares, and I really uh, learned the art how I can make money through whatever way that. So during entire Corona period, I sustained myself. The people were dying one after the other in my family. I had additional responsibility of another family to support financially, and if at all I have survived through that, it is because of knowledge of this book. So that is my take. This book is about educating us on accounting, investing, and financial literacy. I would highly recommend, if you want to live in this world, this is the book to read, and take the multiple takeaways, many takeaways. And though he has put it in two forms, like there was a rich dad, which was somebody else, and his own dad was poor dad. But what did he learn from this person and that person? And the way you think, as we read, invent money, businessmen invent, as many people will read as invest money. So these are very small things that people would overlook, but he asks us to have a focused look at that places. So Mr. Kshitij, your dad is also here. So what will you term him, rich dad or poor dad?
So I have another view to it. I have what we call is a bookish dad, and in that sense, we both are in a very different format. So we would rather talk about the accumulation of knowledge rather than talk about accumulation of money. So both
Wise
of us.
dad.
So there's a certain different viewpoint also. But the amazing fact is that we both have actually started our own business education company just a few months ago. And this came up because of certain understanding that we had of over so many years. So I was in a job. My dad, he had completed almost 50 years of experience, work experience, and him at the age of 71 and me at the age of 38, we actually started our own private limited company. And incidentally, we also have our own corporate training vertical. And when you are bringing up this point, there is something definitely which is needed when we are talking about entrepreneurship, or when we are talking about investment, when we are talking about business. There is a very, very different mindset which is required rather than being an employee. So there is no offense intended anywhere, but we all understand that there are two very big aspects, two very different things. One, taking a fixed monthly salary, and one is arranging for monthly salary for so many different people and their own families. There's a certain responsibility which comes up when we are talking about business, and that requires us to expand our vision. And somewhere down the line, I feel while we are also talking about too many different books of Kiyosaki, I myself have a book over here. This is one book. So the book which I have in my hand is the Business of the 21st Century. The one book which I really loved by Robert Kiyosaki was The Second Chance, where he's basically talking about wherever you realize something that the world doesn't revolve around you, the world has its own different agenda. So the Second Chance book is also something which takes us on a different journey. Somewhere I read a review that Robert Kiyosaki's concepts are always repeated in each and every book, but then the essence of his message is definitely there. He's basically writing the same concepts in different languages, to talking to different people in the ways that people may understand. He has actually enlarged, by writing so many different books, he has enlarged the way the audience, the prospective audience, the possible audience. And I really admire him for that. I would now like to invite the other people also who would like to share their experiences about reading this book, what they have learned, uh, something they have really implemented. Yogesh ji, Suresh ji, please come ahead. I think we have some new participants who have come in. If they would also like to talk about the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, that would be great.
Okay, so I would like to share about one point where he says that no, like his dad, his own dad, who is he call him as a poor dad. So he doesn't value, like he says, money is not important. Okay, so what is important is education, and he always stress on more on education than making money or saving money or something like. So his father, who is he has chosen his friend's father, that is, he call him as a rich dad, and he says money is more powerful. Now, why he says money is powerful is saying that no, we don't have to work for money, but money should work for us. That's what his concept is all about. Okay, and he talks about, like, he has also developed a game called Cash Flow 101. Actually, I played many a times games in Bangalore. We had a group of people who came together and then we played the game. So Cash Flow 101 also is similar to that concept, like what Rajesh was sharing about. Like, home is not an asset; it's a liability. Okay, so same concept he talks about, and then he says how to come out from the rat race. Rat race. Rat race is what, like, we always work for paycheck to paycheck, that is month on month salary, and then first what we do is, once we get the monies, first we do is we start spending, paying the rent, maybe paying the bills, then we spend money whatever is required, and then at the end we save. Okay, that's what our concept is as a general human being. But what he says is, instead of directly pushing the money to the paying the bill and all, first he says pay first yourself. One second thing is, take that money and invest it. Okay, you make a system, whether you want to save 10% or 20% or 30%, make it fix every month on month, whatever happens. So every month, if you start investing, whether in stock market or mutual fund, real estate, whatever you like. Okay, so he doesn't give the specific you need to do. He gives the advantage, the disadvantage, both of the things, and based on that, our thing, we can invest. So once we start fixing that, saying that this is what we are going to invest, but he also recommends not to put it in a bank deposit or a fixed deposit or recurring deposit. The reason is the earning is very less, and at the end it will be a challenge for a person to work on. So he talks about stock market, mutual fund, and also maybe he talks about real estate and other all different kind of investments. Now, when we do that, one is we are doing saving a tax. Okay, so that is most important, because when we invest, we save the tax, because we realize only after a year saying that our taxable income is gone more because we not invested the money. So here, once we start investing, we save the tax. One second thing is that money over a period of compounding, it gets saved in a long bigger amount, where you can start your own business, or you can start buying a bigger real estate property and rent it and start renting it out, getting income from the real estate properties. So likewise, he has given various good concept actually, and mostly what he talks about is, you need to come out from the rat race and be an entrepreneur. So don't be in the business category like a self-employed, but be in a business or investing category where you buy and sell businesses, or you invest in a business where your effort is less. Okay, or maybe you want to invest where your investment will keep growing. You don't have to know much, like Warren Buffett. What he gives the example is similar to what Warren Buffett is doing. So that's what I have. I'm just giving you a few things, because I am following a few things which I like saving the money and all those. I started into mutual fund, but yeah, I started very late because when I read the book, actually I was in the mess of my business. Okay, I was running a crore turnover company, and then within 7 years, I closed down that business. In 2004, it was actually verge of closing. So 2005 early, I closed the business. Then I went for a job actually. That is a 4,000 salary job. After doing a business of 1 crore, I went for a 4,000 salary job, 9 to 9 job. in a pharma company, but it was not working out. Then I joined an IT company, but always my thinking was how to become an entrepreneur. And no, once I became entrepreneur in 2008 again, I started investing it. Okay, but I know 2007, 2008, I invested in stock market, and stock market got crashed. Okay, so whatever the saving I did, almost I lost 95%. That's how happened in 2008 recession. And from there on, I didn't invest for a long time, maybe till 2013, 14. And then from there on, I started investing in the mutual funds, like SIP, I started doing. Okay, I started with 2,000 rupees, then made 5,000, then 10,000 monthly. I'm talking about. Okay, so I started increasing the SIP month on month. Okay, and then stock market I pick up very limited, not much. Okay, so I started investing in that way. So today, when I see the compounding report, what I get, it actually really think is that I have done it myself. Okay, so I sometimes unbelieve for me. It's unbelievable. So that is what has made this actually book really sticking to the principles or whatever the learnings he has shared in this. Okay, so I think I'll hand it over to Kshitij to take forward. I invite everyone, whether you have read the book or not, don't worry, you can come introduce yourself, share about whatever book you have read about Robert Kiyosaki. Okay, maybe you have read from somewhere, you can share about that also. It's not that specific to this book as well. Yeah. So yes, Kshitij, over to you.
Yes. So one more thing which came up to me was so there are people who are actually reading the books and then learning something and then also being able to implement it, just as Khussaal Jain has shared about his own life. Uh, is there anybody else who has been following some other guru, some other coach, or some other author in a similar manner? Would you like to share? That would be a great way for us to all of us to know. Yogesh ji, Avnash ji, Sarita ji, Vani ji. Yes, Bhupesh ji, would you like to share?
Yeah, good evening all. Like Kshitij, this is first time I'm interacting with you as well as the group. But definitely, like I heard Khussaal ji saying about implementing from a book. I have done something very similar when I read Life of Warren Buffett, and I read a very small portion. But one thing which I started doing was like save before you spend. That is one very important thing which I learned from that particular book. And there is one book which I presented during my college days. I don't know if many of us have heard of that or not. That's the book is titled "What They Still Don't Teach at Harvard Business School." And in that book, there is a concept of straight way to the top and spiral way to the top. Like how you grow within the organization. Like there are some people who stick to organizations and they make their mark to the top. And there are some other people who keep switching jobs. So that is one more thing that I remember from this particular book. And I have been following these the GXGE writer, the Prince. That's the Principal MBA. I forget the name of that book. The same book, the ex-CEO of the youngest CEO, I forgot. I'm just not able to recall his name. And he has a few books, small books, which I have gone through and which I've been able to actually implement while I've been doing my work. Currently, I'm based out of Ahmedabad and doing freelancing for almost 10 years now. So I've been implementing few things here and there out of the books that I read. So that's from my side.
Wonderful to hear so much from you, Bhupesh ji. Anybody else? Would you please like to share? Somewhere during the pandemic, I also realized one thing that when we used to meet in person at different meetings or different seminars or physically, there was not so much interaction possible because somebody would always be there on the stage. But in the online on a Zoom screen, everybody of us has that equal space and the equal opportunity to talk. And let's have the floor open. Let's have some excitement. Let's learn more stuff over here once we are here.
Just to add on, the book named is The Real Life MBA by Jack Welch.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, Avnashi.
So, Kshitij, I have a question to you, vivid readers. As I mentioned to you, I can't read, I hate reading. And my husband is, I can't say he doesn't like to read, but yes, he doesn't read like most people would hold a book in the end of the day and read. He rather would sit in front of the TV and see some old movies. And obviously, what can happen to our girls? They're going to follow our footsteps. So they don't read either. Now, there was a time when my daughter was around 13 years old and the Harry Potter craze had come and she was all over it and she read all the editions. That was the only time ever in my life I saw my girls, not my girls, my daughter, one of them reading. Now, since they are just 16 and 17, I feel it's yet not too late to develop this skill. So how would you experts guide me? How do I go about with them? Because I want them to start reading. And, you know, because my mom always said, if you read a book, if you could read, you don't need another friend. All you need is a book in your hand. Yes. And today I feel, yes, I wish I had that habit. So I would love some advice on that. Thank you.
Yes. So basically what happens is all through our life, our human brain is basically conditioned to learning in some way or the other. So some of us learn by doing something with our hand, some of us learn by looking at something, some of us learn by reading. So somewhere we have to know that in the education system, which is mostly memory based, this just put off some of us in our childhood from reading. But now at this age, when the once there are holidays going on, I would definitely request you to figure out, maybe try listening to YouTube book summaries, maybe trying listening to audible summaries, or maybe there are so many different ways that we can now experience books. If somebody is not really up to reading, being seen, okay, reading a book, maybe they can download a Kindle app on their phone and then start reading that, because everybody wherever they are traveling, people are always looking at their phones. So maybe some people can actually experiment with different 3-4 ways of doing something, maybe get into a group and then start a reading project. I think for most of the popular books, there are so many different ways of different summaries and different ways we can pick up reading as a habit. For me, I was fortunate that I had many books at home, and I was one of those quiet children who used to sit at home on the dining table and read newspapers or books during the school days, except not reading my textbook. But I realized there are so many distractions which are available today. We have Netflix, we have Amazon Prime, we have so many different things happening for youngsters today. If somebody else also would like to share, that would be great.
Yes.
So my daughter sorry, 1 second. So that my daughter who was reading Harry Potter, first, she was fortunate that she won a Kindle once. So she did download 1 or 2, I think, famous fives or something, because that is the time she had won it in some competition. But there's nothing else in that Kindle. It's just like a white elephant in her drawer, and we don't make use of it at all. So I have to channelize her now to start reading something. And as you rightly said, I am the auditory learner. You know, I prefer to listen, and for anything may it be, I prefer to listen than to physically read.
Yes.
Sorry, yes, somebody else was suggesting.
Yeah, so Rajesh, you can go suggest.
I believe I'll come back to Ms. Abnaz's question a little later. We have hands raised by Sarita and Yogesh. Once we have their waypoint, I promise I'll come back to you.
Yes, Sarita ji.
Yes, sir. In this Rich Dad and Poor Dad, there was one point that was made, which is learn how to sell. And in the book, a woman with a degree in English literature asks Kiyosaki how she can become a best-selling author. So he tells her to enroll in a sales training course. And shocked by his answer, she says, "You aren't serious, are you?" So Kiyosaki picks up a book on the coffee table and says, "Is a reason why successful books say best-selling author, not best writing author." So selling is a crucial skill if you want to be rich. And so, as he explains in the book, he says to get out of your comfort zone, practice selling and network. If you don't do that, you'll never be able to run your own business. That's all.
Very wonderful. Thank you, Sarita ji. Yogesh ji.
Yes, sir. Good evening, all again. Sorry, sir, I haven't read this book, but I would like to share my experience about reading books. Practically, what I feel that we as a reader not select the book itself select the reader. So, what I usually do whenever I got time or I see a library or any bookstall, I just go to the stall and have a look around all the books. It may be of any kind, and read some brief information about books, maybe on the front page, back page, or the initial pages. And what I feel or experience from my thing that it is not the conscious mind who choose the book; it is the subconscious mind who choose the books. So,
Very wonderful. Very wonderful.
so the very moment, because I have not prepared myself to buy any book or to read any book, I just go there and at that moment, whatever comes from my mind that maybe I like the front page, back page, literature, anything, I just take the book, take it with me. Maybe I will read at that time or later on. But when I do this practice for 4 to 5 years, what I have realized in the upcoming time that whenever I have to take some decision or I have to stabilize myself, I go to my library and select one of the books. And by God grace, I choose the book which has the solution. So what my experience is all about that your subconscious mind will definitely choose the book which is relevant to you. And the best part, when you read a book, you are with you, because you are the one who create the question, you are the one who give the answer. So there is no intermediate required when you read a book. So you are everything, and at one during the reading time. So even those peoples who are not interested in reading books can try this, and you will definitely found that reading books or to be connect with books is one of the main mottos of or prime works of our life. And to be with ourselves, it is one of the medium, I would say. So one way or the other way, these books will definitely help in all aspects of the life.
Yeah.
So they will motivate you, and even if you are uh, down or going well, then also they will give you the stability. And in tough times, definitely they will help you to recover also. So in all aspects of your life, starting from your health, starting from your career, and then how to maintain the social life also. So in every part of your life, this reading will definitely help. And kindly excuse, I have not read this book, otherwise I will share something related to this book also. So
Yes.
thanks a lot.
Yogesh ji, you made a very, very good point that sometimes the book chooses a trader. This is something which me and my father have personally experienced during the pandemic. So, sitting at home, what does one do when one television is occupied, when the laptop is occupied? How do multiple people occupy their time? So, me and my father, whatever, when we wanted to research on something, if we heard about some book being recommended in a webinar or in a seminar or in a program, there was so many different times that we already had that book at our home, especially during the pandemic. there were almost 30 to 40 different books which we have read over the last 2 years together. And as you were saying, sometimes we go out in the market, we buy a book somewhere, and it will help us in our life 5 years later, 6 years later. Uh, I would like to share a very personal incident over here. So there was a book at home which was basically titled as The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dyer. That book was something which was in our home for almost so many 2 decades or something. But either of us had not read that book. And when we read that book just last month, we just realized maybe if we had read it maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it would have just gone over our head, just like calculus or algebra or trigonometry. But now we realize, okay, that so there is some amount of resourcefulness which we all have. Somewhere I bought a book out on the footpath outside my college campus. Somewhere I bought a book at a railway station, something similar to what Khussaal Ji shared. But then books are those resources which will come to our use when the right time comes. So we have to be open to that prospect. So I welcome others also to share.
Yes, may I pitch in for my response? Abnaz, ma'am, I don't know if you have watched this movie Munna Bhai, the second part where we are talking about Gandhigiri. So this person is uneducated mafia guy. He believes in bashing up people and all that. So he has a dash with Mahatma Gandhi, and he wants to know more about Mahatma Gandhi. Then he walks into a library, and library has big books. Obviously, he can't read those big books because he can't even understand. So he picks up the most smallest, thinnest book, which is like 20 pages, and that 20-page book transforms him. So I would, I'm not saying you are like Munna Bhai, no. I am saying pick up any book, but don't try to finish it immediately. Read even one line of that book. Read 2 lines of a book and just keep it. Because when you would have bought that book, you would have thought why you bought that book. You would have paid money for it. Don't expect a first book to be gifted to you, whichever book. So you buy, because there are a lot of psychologies involved in printing the front page of the book and the back page. The color combination, the font size, everything, just to attract the reader or audience. So you pick up a book and then read just 1 line, 2 line. If you buy any thriller or suspense book, trust me, you will get mad. You will have to finish it. It is like addiction, but that is a later stage. Pick up. If you are interested in people's life, buy any biography or autobiography. If you are interested in any Bollywood, like there is a book by Rishi Kapoor, Devanand, so many. So you can pick up anyone if you are interested in someone's life. If you are not interested in anything, then there's a fiction. If you are interested in yourself, I'm sure everyone is interested in that self-help books. Many things are there. Just pick any book and read just 1 line. Don't put a target that I have to complete this within a week, or I'm traveling and traveling time is this. So don't do that. Pick up and then see slowly you will pick up. In between, if I get an opportunity, I'll share an essay with you by Francis Bacon. He wrote this some 300 years back, and he has written on reading. And in that he says some books are to be chewed, some books are to be digested, and some books are to be chewed, digested, and swallowed. So he has categorized books in different formats, and he talks so much about reading. Trust me, that essay is about 500 words. But when you read that entire essay, every sentence will turn out to be a proverb. Every sentence. And that is the power of a writer. And that is also a power of an interested audience or a reader who can extract that creativity, and then expose that to his friend circle. Hey, listen, I know this guy, I know that guy, and all that. So reading has magic, as you rightly said. You don't need friend if you have a book. The best part is you will get your answer, and I'm really thankful to Yogesh. He really brought out very nice point that there is a connectivity, subconscious connectivity between you and something there in the society, in the subconsciousness or the world outside you, which connects you. There is a reason why we are all here together. You could have done anything with this evening today, but you chose to log in. Who knows that this evening can change your life? And our friend Robert Kiyosaki says he doesn't want to be want a student to be expert. He wants, don't be A grade, be a C grade. That is not important. What is important is how you are dealing with people, how you are dealing with the money, how you are managing the system. That is more important to succeed in life and business and financial attributes. I really thank Sarita ma'am also brought very nice point as far as selling is concerned. Sarita ma'am is not here. Oh yes, she's there. Because he himself was a salesman for Xerox. He failed. He was selling many products. So yes, sales gives you the maximum amount of money in the world as far as salary is concerned. But what if you have a product and people sell it for you? So just imagine the exponential kind of money that you can think of. So Khussaal ji, if I can get Abnas madam's email ID, I will share this essay of Francis Bacon. You read it for yourself and tell me which line is not a proverb in that. Okay, it's a 500, but I'll be happy to share amongst the group, everyone, and then you will know what I'm talking about. How essays are so powerful. Sorry, reading is so powerful.
So we have some new people who have joined in the middle of the session. Dhaval ji, Hiren ji, Reddy ji. If you would also like to share your experiences along with a brief introduction, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hi, my name is Dhaval. I'm basically a strategic management consultant. I read multiple books. And to be really honest with you, more than books, I did not have that concentration or the patience to really sit for 3-4 hours. Like I'm a guy who has, like, in my mind 100 things goes in parallel, and I really cannot sit on and concentrate at least for 2-3 hours. So I started this habit of developing my concentration by reading books. So it slightly started with that intention. But then, yeah, when I read books, in fact, I slightly started with at the stage when I was listening to interviews and videos of people. Okay, one of the very nice book, instead of book, I would say the interview which I would like to share is about an author called Sumantra Ghoshal. Okay, Sumantra Ghoshal, if you Google it, he was a strategic management consultant for Harvard Business School. So he was a professor there, and everybody knows Lufthansa Airlines. Okay, Lufthansa Airlines was one of the premium airlines in the airlines industry, and Lufthansa matlab ek 5-star airlines tha, and it was dominating European market like anything. And you might be knowing in 1990s or something, 1995, Emirates came in. Okay, Emirates was from the Dubai government, and the Dubai king, we all know that he is the most craziest guy. So he started, he pumped in money for that Emirat Airlines, and two is the fuel cost was absolutely zero, because in Gulf they have the oil wells and everything. So because of that, Lufthansa started getting into losses. So Lufthansa, which had earned profit for 17 years, started boiling down losses. So it ran to a stage that they only had 6 months of salary left. So I mean, they were at a situation that they can only survive for 6 months, and then they literally had to give up, because fuel cost was 60%, which from Europe what they were getting it, whereas Emirates was getting it at much more 60% less rate. So and on other multiple domains, the airport taxes and everywhere. So the logically they had figured out everything, and they were not able to really get into profit, because Emirates were getting extremely stronger. And this author, Sumantra Ghoshal, okay, I am not sure about his books, but there are multiple videos of him. He was one of the consultant who tried to retrieve Emirates Airlines. The Lufthansa Airlines. So he has very beautiful videos on how organizations can be changed. Okay, I'm giving you a context of organizations, but yeah, he basically starts everything from the individual perspective. So there are many beautiful videos of him. So I would highly recommend you Google it. His name is Sumantra Ghoshal. Unfortunately, he expired in an accident. But there are many management lessons from him. So if you even put Sumantra Ghoshal management lessons, you'll really enjoy, especially if you have a business mindset like me. So this is what I can share from my end.
Very wonderful, Dhavalji. So you have actually brought in a very different aspect of management theory, business management into this Robert Kiyosaki's session. Uh, Somewhere down the line, business is all about money, and the way each and every successful business person is building up, there are certain key basics which are common, and uh, somewhere those decisions which are taken in business about money and the use of money, it is also driven by the person who is the decision maker.
Exactly.
Now, if the decision maker has been born into a family where he has that amount of money to spend, uh, he will be thinking in a different manner. Somebody who has climbed his way up the corporate ladder will be taking decisions in a different manner. So the story that we were sharing about Lufthansa in India, anytime there is an airline industry story, there is always Vijay Mallya. But
exactly.
But yes, it was so interesting to hear of some other airline story. In fact, me and my father, we actually dealt with the Stanford B School's case study of Southwest Airlines. Just few months ago, we were actually going through that. There was a PDF which I went through, and I loved that PDF. I shared it with him also. So this aspect of looking at so many different kind of readings, it is not only the books, it is all the published materials in whatever form they are that really help us in some way or the other. Rajesh ji has also been so kind enough to share about a particular essay, which is just 500 words, but then when it packs in such a huge power, it is always talking about the author's mind who is connected to the universe and what the message which he transform, sharing with so many different people. It is only when the right time comes that we come across the right book. It is only when the time is right that we meet the right author.
Exactly.
Very wonderful sharing, Dhavalji.
Thank you very much.
Hiranji, Reddy ji, if you would like to share.
Yeah, this is Hiren here. Of late, I'm not able to. I'm not reading books of late. Whatever books I buy, it seems they are for the other people, and they read it, and then they tell me what was there in it. So I want to cultivate this habit once again. I want to get into the book reading, and that is one of the reasons that I joined today. Somebody shared me this invite, and I registered for it. Yeah, so that is it.
Yeah, thank you, Hiren. Thank you, Hiren, for sharing that. Okay, so I invite Kshitij ji. Either you can read a couple of pages of the book, or maybe you can invite Inder ji also. So let's begin so that everyone who are curious to start reading book, maybe we can start the beginning from today. At least 1 or 2 pages we can read out, and maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs where they can start cultivating that habit. I'm saying that's one step ahead. Yeah, so you can take a call. Over to you, Kshitij.
I'll just share my screen, and so while I have this book open, I think we'll go ahead with financial literacy, the chapter 2. I'll read a couple of pages from here and then we'll go ahead and have a little bit of discussion over on this. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. In 1990, Mike took over his father's empire and is in fact doing a better job than his dad did. We see each other once or twice a year on the golf course. He and his wife are the wealthier than you could imagine. Rich Dad's empire is in a great hand, and Mike is now grooming his son to take his place as his dad had groomed us. So over here, Mike is the person who is of similar age as Kiyosaki, and they both uh, were friends together. And Mike's father was the rich dad in this book. In 1994, I retired. I was 47, and my wife Kim was 37. Retirement does not mean not working for us. It means barring unforeseen cataclysmic changes, we can work or not work, and our wealth grows automatically, staying ahead of inflation. Our assets are large enough to grow by themselves. It is like planting a tree. You water it for years, and then one day it doesn't need you anymore. Its roots are implanted deep enough, and then the tree provides the shade for your enjoyment. Mike chose to run this empire, and I chose to retire. Whenever I speak to groups of people, they often ask what I would recommend that they do. How do I get started? Is there a book you would recommend? What should I do to prepare my children? What is your secret to success? How do I make millions? Whether I hear one of these questions, I am reminded of the following story. The richest businessman. In 1923, a group of our greatest leaders and richest businessmen held a meeting at the Edgewater Beach hotel in Chicago. Among them were Charles Schwab, head of the largest independent steel company; Samuel Insull, president of the world's largest utility; Howard Hobson, head of the largest gas company; Ivor Kruger, president of the International Match Company, one of the world's largest companies at the time; Leon Frazier, president of the Bank of International Settlement; Richard Whitney, president of the New York Stock Exchange; Arthur Cotton and Jesse Livermore, two of the biggest stock speculators; and Albert Fall, a member of the President Harding's cabinet. 25 years later, nine of these titans ended their lives as follows. Schwab died penniless after living for 5 years on borrowed money. Insull died broke in a foreign land, and Kruger and Cotton also died broke. Hobson went insane. Whitney and Albert Fall were released from prison, and Fraser and Livermore committed suicide. I doubt if anyone can say what really happened to these men. If you look at the date 1923, it was just before the 1929 market crash and the Great Depression, which I suspect had a great impact on these men and their lives. The point is, today we are living the times of greater and faster change than these men did. I suspect there will be many booms and busts in the coming years that will parallel the ups and downs these men face. I am concerned that too many people are too focused on money and not their greatest wealth, their education. If people are prepared to be flexible, keep an open mind, and learn, they will grow richer and richer despite tough changes. If they think money will solve problems, they will have a rough ride. Intelligence solves problems and produces money. Money without financial intelligence is money soon gone. Most people fail to realize that in life, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. We have all heard stories of lottery winners who are poor, then suddenly rich, and then poor again. They win millions, yet are soon back where they started, or stories of professional athletes who at the age of 24 are earning millions but are sleeping under a bridge 10 years later. So somewhere down the line, we realize that we all connect with stories. Sometimes when we are not a reader, we are not reading newspapers also or blogs also, but the stories which we identify with help us learn the the uh, the key point. So over here, basically, Robert Kiyosaki has actually shared of some 100 years ago a story of what we have seen happening recently in India also. Recessions keep on happening. The market goes up every few years, but the people who are rich, they really need to become more wealthy. The rich in terms of bank balance doesn't mean it will always be there. But once you are rich in bank balance and you are upgrading yourself, your knowledge, your ways of keeping your money intact, that is where you become wealthy. And I think the definitions which societal conditioning does, especially in India for all of us, about uh, investing in so many different things. What we, as Khushalji rightly shared at the beginning, Robert Kiyosaki's whole uh, concept of financial literacy start from understanding what is an asset and what is a liability. Somewhere down the line, when we are in school or in college, we don't understand this, but the real life really teaches us that at whatever stage of life, somewhere we have all been through tough times, we have all gone through difficult times as a family, as an individual, in our jobs, in our businesses. uh, the whole point is about remembering the key basics and uh, going along with that. I am uh, really picked up this chapter because these stories which were there, the men that we were talking about, all the names, they were all billionaires in those age. Uh, and somehow we know how rapidly a downfall can happen, how rapidly a rise can happen. And that is all a value of perception, that is all a value of a belief, that is all how we are actually taking our life, how we take our role in society. Uh, Somewhere, uh, one thing which I really struck me to what we were reading a few minutes ago is the fact that uh, we can identify with certain things, and it is only a matter of practice how we go ahead. Anybody would like to share their impression? Somebody who has not read the book and was just hearing the stories, what are their impressions? Avnash ji, Yogesh ji would like to share. Uh, so uh, let me just go ahead and uh, share that in this book, Kiyosaki has brought in another way of just lining up different chapters. He is also talking about a summary at the end of each chapter. And I'll just skip some pages and start reading. You must know the difference between an asset and a liability, and by asset is his rule number 1. An asset put money in my pocket, a liability takes money out of my pocket. There are certain pictures in this book which really take us to our basics of balance sheet, the cash flow patterns, he is also taking us through uh, a diagrammatic view of a cash flow pattern of a poor person, a cash flow pattern of a person in the middle class, and a cash flow pattern of a rich person. Somehow, as we were talking with Avnashji, if a person is wanting to connect on a pictorial basis, then these charts are so useful and simple enough to understand. This really takes us different levels altogether in terms of our understanding in the book. Yes, Khussaal Jain.
Yeah, thank you, Sitij, for bringing in so much energy, and also you read couple of couple of pages of the book. It was really awesome, and yeah. So what I would recommend everyone is, okay, maybe if you want to share one learning from today's session, okay, maybe you can share right now. That would be great, and then maybe another 10 more minutes we'll be winding up the meeting. And if you want to recommend any book, okay, we might pick up for reading for the next session. You can recommend now, or else what we will do is we'll share it in the group. Okay, so you can join the Telegram group. If you already got a mail, there would be a Telegram group. Okay, in the Telegram group, you would be shared, okay, what would be the next topic. Okay, so that would be there. So just share one learning, okay, one learning from today's session, what you learned and what are you going to apply from today, from these learnings. So who would like to go first? So you can raise the hand or you can unmute yourself and you can.
So my learning is going to be that I'm going to try and read at least 2 lines every day. I don't know for how many days, but I'm going to try. Thank you.
Amazing, Avnas. Thank you. And yes, last month, I think Kshitij recommended this book, Power West Force, I think. Okay, in one of the session. And then I bought this last week. Okay, so now I'm going through this. So I keep reading, even I don't complete whole the book, okay, but I read few chapters and then I just open in mid of the book and read a couple of chapters from there. Okay, so something it opens up, I know, and then that can create the curiosity to read from the start. Sometimes a lot of people know they start reading from the end, that is the climax or the conclusion.
That's me. I somehow read from the end. I don't know why.
Okay, and then we see, okay, how the story got end, we don't know. Okay, because most of the stories doesn't have the summaries in the book. Okay, there are people who create the summaries and then they sell it on a subscription base. But actually, see, when you read your own book, it is completely different than hearing from someone else summary. Okay, it's completely different perspective. That's what I see. And also, if you like Kindle, you like PDF, you like reading the hard copy book, or you like audio, all versions are available. You can pick whatever works for you. For me, always works is the physical book. I've tried Kindle, I tried PDF. It is not making sense because whenever I read one chapter, I feel sleepy. But that book makes me at least awake, make me curious to go through and flip the pages. It gives completely different experience. So I always like physical books. Okay, that's my way of saying. Okay, yes. Yeah, Vani, you can go ahead. Then I can invite Inderji as well. Yes.
Yeah, the pickup points for today was chew, digested, and swallow. It's a very powerful words which I think I will contemplate when I'm reading. I read many books, but this is something interesting that brought into my thought. Now, just now you were mentioning about what do you call that? What was a telegram, right? What was the name?
Okay, so I'll share it in the group here. No problem. Yeah.
Maybe in the chat also will put it.
Yeah, I'll
Thank you.
Normally we send it on a mail. Okay. Or if you are following any Amplify channel, okay, in that channel it would be there. Okay, I'm sending. I'll put it in the chat right now. Okay. Yes. It is https://amplify.co/telegram simply. So if you click on that, it will take you to the Telegram group. You can join that group. Okay, there is a recommendation by Sarita, Man's Search for Meaning. Yes, that's also an amazing book. Yeah, great. Okay, yes, Vani, anything you want to share? Then I'll invite Inderji.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I thought let me mention about the book which is in my hands right now, which is taking much more time to read. Practically every day, just 20, 30 pages I am able to read. And this book is Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Kshitij tells me that this is a book which is in numbers sold just second to Bible.
Wow.
And you see how this book came in our hands. It was Kshitij's wife's birthday or something. And we left from office and went to a bookstore, and we were searching for the books, something which he can give to his wife. And he recalled that his wife is very fond of, she talks a lot about motorcycle. And it's a different thing that these people like we have been in Mumbai, we don't have we never had two-wheeler at all. So just by the word motorcycle, that it should be of interest to Kshitij's wife Divya.
And also the back cover of it says it is about a father-son.
Now, in this book, at a number of places, I see Kshitij as a author and his son. They are riding long distance, and for quite some time, this author's friend and his wife were there on the other bike. And you see, through this motorcycle maintenance, he has tried. He's trying to go to the spirituality and quality and so many things. And the ghost and universe and cosmos and Plato and Aristotle and who not, really. Now, I think I have completed about 90% only. And being this big book, more than 70 years ago it was written. And just little bit of this I want to read right now.
Yeah,
if you permit me to do so.
Yeah, sure.
See, there is it's about objectivity and subjectivity. And when people look at objectively or subjectively, then it is these things are seen in isolation, whereas actually for anything, any physical object or a life or be it a plant or be it a chair or sofa or anything which is produced, there is something quality which gets into the thing, whether it is a conversation, book, or any physical object. which gets into the outcome by virtue of involvement of the person doing it. And then you see people, these days the question of the matter of loneliness is quite prevalent. So many things are there, still people feel lonely, and the technology is being blamed for it and things like that. So the author is saying that it is not that technology is blamed for a lot of this loneliness, since the loneliness is certainly associated with the newer technological devices, TV, jets, freeways, and so on. But I hope it's been made plain that the real evil isn't the objects of technology, but the tendency of technology to isolate people into lonely attitude of objectivity. It's the objectivity, the dualistic way of looking at things underlying technology that produces the evil. That's why I went to so much trouble to show how technology could be used to destroy the evil. A person who knows how to fix motorcycle with quality, I would like to emphasize on this, a person who knows how to fix motorcycle with quality is less likely to run short of friends than one who doesn't. एक बंदा मैनुअल के हिसाब से काम हो रहा है तो हो रहा है, नहीं हो रहा है तो वो छोड़ देगा उसको. लेकिन एक आदमी जो कर रहा है, क्वालिटी अपने दिमाग से भी डालने की कोशिश कर रहा है उसके अंदर. Like the guy with whom to whom I have been going for more than 20 years, I call him by name and not my mechanic, motorcycle, my car mechanic. So he's more like a friend than a mechanic. A person who knows how to fix motorcycle with quality is less likely to run short of friends than one who doesn't. And they aren't going to see him as a kind of object either. Quality destroys objectivity every time. इसमें आगे थोड़ा आगे जाके बस 2.5 लाइन और पढ़ता हूँ. My personal feeling is that this is how any further improvement of the world will be done, by individuals making quality decisions, and that's all. God, I don't want to have any more enthusiasm for big programs full of social planning for big masses of people. They leave individual quality out. These can be left alone for a while. So here the talk is about how things can be improved, how the life can be improved. I am finding it very interesting, and for multiple reasons I stop here. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Amazing. Yeah. Okay, so who would like to share today's learning and what is that you want to pick up, and maybe for the next meeting, any recommendation for the book? Okay.
If you would like to share.
Kshitij, I shared already. I'm going to start reading now. Not a lot, only 2 or 3 lines, maybe 1 paragraph every day. You're on mute, Kshitij.
So you will start with 2-3 books together or only 1 book?
No. जैसे वैसे एक book तो complete करने दो. And no, this book has been on my mind because many people have suggested. I have the book. My husband was reading it, and my younger daughter held it in her hand. And then it's
so we are nearing the end of the session.
But then I have something, I have little more to say. That yes, this rich dad, poor dad thing, everybody has father as well as son. Okay. So like in my position, I am saying that all fathers who have grown up children and they don't have to feel bad if they are not very wealthy and outlandishly rich and all that. So they don't have to carry any guilt like that, whatever have been the circumstances. But then once they know that things can be made better, whatever may be the age, they can change their line of course and start taking things as Robert has said. Thank you.
Amazing advice.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so that's true. Actually, even I come from a middle class family, and we in our family, most of them have done only business. Okay, whether when they started, my grandparents or grandparents, they were into agriculture, and then they were into lending money and all the stuff. Then father came, he started a job, and then he started his shop. Okay, now still that shop is there, which is almost 70-year-old now. And I changed the course because I want to do something big. Okay. So that's how whatever you are giving the advice is almost the similar thing. That's what I'm saying. So people can take what they want they can take own the responsibility. They can own up the ownership of their life and move forward. That's what Inderji want to share. That's amazing thing. Yeah. So Sitiji, thank you very much for partnering and running this show of today's meeting. It was amazing. And I know you are driving this, and it is really great. And I would like to thank you and Inderji and everyone, all the participants who have been there, who have joined us, and also people who are watching on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and those who are going to watch recording as well. So I want to thank you very much. And I recommend everyone you to join live meeting so that you can experience more. You can be part of the debate, you can be part of the discussions, and we are going to meet on every second and fourth Saturday of all the months. So and this is the time, almost it will be like 7:30 or max 8 will start, and 90 minutes time what we have scheduled. Okay. So in that 10 to 15 minutes would be for the introduction of all the guests who are there, all the participants, and then we move on to the reading the book, our discussion, our debate, whatever it is, and then the end we vote of thanks. Okay, thank you. And also we pick up the book what we are going to read next time, or if not, there is no suggestion, what we do is we keep it open. Okay, so you bring in whatever the book you want to share, and let's listen from your side. Okay, so that also is a great way of doing it. And then maybe we'll pick up fiction, non-fiction, self-help, various. It's a bigger journey. Okay, if you want to really look into it, maybe I can't give you the URL right now. Okay, because it was previously was Bangalore Book Club. If you go and see, we have already conducted more than 250 meetings, more than 250 or 300 meetings in over a period of more than 11 years, 12 years. Okay, so we have different topics we have picked up. So maybe from those we might repeat. Okay, but audience is different, books are different, topics is different. That's what you need to understand. Okay, but it has been a fun learning and connecting each other. That's a great thing. So yes, Kshitij, you want to share anything before we wind up? So I would really like to thank you from bottom of my heart, organizing and managing this show. Yes.
Thank you, Khussaal Ji, for the deep trust. And I would really want to acknowledge each and every participant who joined in and spent 1.5 hours valuable of their time. Somewhere if we had spent those 1.5 hours reading that book, but somehow when we are listening to other people, we are also able to experience other ways of looking at the same thing. Thanks a lot for everybody who joined in. Look forward to meeting you 2 weeks later again.
Thank you everyone. Okay, and those who couldn't share, you can share it in the group about this meeting. Okay, about this book club, Amplify Book Club, so that more and more people can share or show the interest. Okay, and so that they can join here. So amazing. Thank you. See you exactly from now. Maybe if you want the date, I'll give you the date. Okay, so the date is on 25th of June. 25th June is the 4th Saturday. So we'll see you on that day. Same time. Okay, thank you. Have a great day.